Good morning, everyone. We are in Exodus 21. I know I look tired. Oh my gosh, I just don't seem to be able to get out of these dreams right now, which is really odd and interesting to me. And I wake up and I'm going, I'm so tired, which is rare that it just started a few days ago, and it's like, ugh, I'm just, and you want me to tell you what happened? I have no idea. I wake up and going, ugh, and I close my eyes again, and I'm right back in. Okay, something's going on. I don't know. I can't always, I don't always, I don't pay much attention to dreams. I know what goes on, but as far as, okay, not doing that. That's it. The subconscious working something out. Maybe. I remember a dream, though, that I had, and it several times now while I was before I started reading that would come up, so I'm going to share it today. And that was, I have a sis-in-law. She's passed away now. And I wanted her to come here and live here with the rest of us as well. She had some health problems, and I just thought, man, she doesn't need to be by herself in her apartment, though she's very independent, just very, always optimistic, and wonderful person, really, I have to say, in so many ways. And I had a dream, and I got up and I said, guys, I got to tell you guys, I saw sis, and she came walking towards me without a walker, without anything, and she was so happy. She says, I'm here. And I remember so well. I'm coming around the corner, came just from the outside, from the porch, into the house, and here she comes from the kitchen through the dining room, and I'm going. I'm kind of. Oh, you're. She says, I'm here, and it was such a. Oh, well, hi. I didn't know you were what, huh? And that was kind of it. And I said, "Okay, guys, guess what? I think this is really, let's try and make that move for her, and convince her to come here and stay with us here." And 3 weeks later, we got to notice she had passed away. Heart failure. She had some heart problems as well. So she had heart failure. She was 73. Oh, I can't remember now. And immediately I was reminded of the dream. Because as I said in the dream, she was perfectly healthy and happy and glowing. Mm. Mm. Oh, so if I would have, okay, guys, it is what it is, right? Yes. Yeah. And oh, so my dreams now. Is this again something that spirit world is preparing me for or something? Hmm. I'm always happy, or I'm always grateful. We should say this: grateful when I know that someone has passed away and I have some comfort to give. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Maybe it has to do something with having spent so many hours sitting with people in transition of passing. Right. Yes. Which maybe I'll do that tomorrow. That's another thing too. I think it keeps coming up. Veterans. It just keeps coming up. And I had a couple of wonderful, amazing experiences with veterans um, passing. Okay, next time. I know what these dreams are all, in a way, what's happening in spirit world, huh? And how is it going to affect us here? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Maybe we'll come back to it. All right. Oh, I can tell you one thing with these dreams. It always has to do with law enforcement, in a good way, in a really good way. The people that are out there risking their lives for the rest of us, against whom? Right? Yes? That's kind of the dreams seem to be always going around all that. And veterans. Again, it's soldiers, right? I didn't say war. I said soldiers. The spirit world care about war. Spirit world cares about the spirits and souls of soldiers. And others that trying stay on the side of goodness, stay and give protection. I can't say it any other way, right? What about then the other side of that? How did I say? Huh? In whatever army, right? It's not about the war. It's about the soldiers. Anyway, we'll talk more about that. So, 21, Exodus. Let's see what we got today. Laws concerning slaves. Oh, God almighty. There's no way of getting away from this. These are the laws you must give them. When you buy a Hebrew slave, his service will last for 6 years. In the 7th year, he will leave a free man without paying compensation. When you buy a Hebrew slave. So a Hebrew wasn't an Israelite, is that it? Well, who were they then? Oh, interesting. Are these two different tribes? Oh. If he came single, he will depart single. If he came married, his wife will depart with him. If his master gives him a wife and she bears him sons or daughters, the wife and her children will belong to her master. Her master. Oh, interesting translation. And he will depart alone. Oh, that's sad. Look at that. That's horrible. But if the slave says, I love my master and my wife and children, I do not wish to be freed, then his master will bring him before God, and then, leading him to the door or the doorpost, his master will pierce his ear with an awl, and the slave will be permanently his. What kind of a rule is that? If a man sells his daughter as a slave, she will not leave as male slaves do. If she does not please her master who intended her for himself, he must let her be bought back. He has not the right to sell her to foreigners, for this would be a breach of faith with her. If he intends her for his son, he must treat her as custom requires daughters to be treated. I'm about to throw up here, everyone, okay? Just saying, my stomach's starting to kind of churn from this. If he takes another wife, he must not reduce the food, clothing, or conjugal rights of the first one. Should he deprive her of these three things, she will leave a free woman without paying compensation. Yeah, right. Okay. Where the heck did this come from? That's God. God. That's God's word right here. All of it. Okay. Really, I need to have a talk with God. Ugh. I think it sounds so right, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Kind of, right? Yeah. And yet it sounds so wrong. Homicide. Oh, here we go. Anyone, dear me, this is the book of the covenant. I guess the laws concerning slaves. Now, slaves already been such a big part, right? Well, first of all, the Israelites were slaves themselves, which again, do unto others that you would like to have done to you. Really? Okay. Oh, well, that takes on a whole new meaning now, doesn't it? Oh, I wanted to bring that up. The Ten Commandments, the way that God is teaching his people. I said, there's so much in there. I'm going, ugh. But then I have to remember, okay, how far ahead later have you been born? And what has changed? And something's still changing. Then I have to say, oh, well, I guess it is. Right? Things are restoring. It just takes so much time, right? Thousands of years. And in a way, now what I see going on out in the world, we're slipping back into bad practices, right? Yes, so difficult to just defend an unborn child's life. And, saying, but you made a choice. 95%, I have no doubt, made a choice beforehand, right? That could have avoided, if the choice would have been better, made right, that unborn child, not wanted, now unplanned, would not have happened. Right? Just say, we're slipping back with some things. Anyway, but here's a people who, after 400 years, that's a long time in a country that you've kind of been adopted to. Not only that, no, slaves, been made slaves. I have to put some more wood on the fire. I want this to be a little warm when Sissy gets up. She doesn't have hot flashes like I do. Yeah, just in time here. Besides, she carried all the wood in last night. At least I could do this. Okay. So God has to start all from scratch, right? With the Israelites, right? Reteaching them. Right? So, okay. And I guess one has to do that, right? In small steps. So the laws of, now thinking and talking about all that, the laws concerning slaves, then, right? It's a step in the right direction, right? Without, I guess, again, the slaves can, okay, well, in so many years, right? And then I can be free, and they can work already towards that, right? Rather than just, okay, we're going to free everybody now because that's the right thing to do, this, now, then suddenly, right, what are them slaves going to do? Right? Just suddenly, right? Yes. So, okay, so reading that again, except for the women thing, is still, that just, bleh. But again, there's also, if And maybe God already foresaw men just can't. What is it about men and needing so much action when it comes to that? But in any case, so there are two. If these three things, or one of these three things, isn't complied with, the woman gets to go free. Right? Yes? Okay. Yeah, I wonder how it was for women who were slaves or sold like that, and then that comes up. Okay, you're free to go now. Or hey, I'm going. Where are they going? Where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? Right. So again, yeah, it's one of those things. All right, let's go to homicide now. Anyone who by violence causes a death must be put to death. Oh, well then. Nip that in the butt, huh? So, but didn't we get thou shalt not kill? Aha. Now, here people would come in and say, well, that means thou shalt not murder. Oh, okay. We have a discrepancy here. That's all I'm saying. Again, too many gray areas suddenly then open up. If, however, he has not planned to do it, but it comes from God by his hand, oh, come on now. You gotta be kidding me. Who wrote this down? He can take refuge in a place which I shall appoint for you. But should any person dare to kill another with deliberate planning, you will take that person even from my altar to be put to death. Anyone who strikes father or mother will be put to death. Anyone who abducts a person, whether that person has since been sold or is still held, will be put to death. Anyone who curses father or mother will be put to death. Whoa! I don't know what to say to this. Man, sounds like tyranny in a way. I mean, okay. I mean, again, is this really okay? Or is this a warning? Again, these are the laws of heaven. Don't break them. You're going to end up dead, as a dead person I can't care for anymore. Is that how it's meant? This is pretty, I don't know, guys. If you think of just your own surroundings, how many people would be dead right now if that were the case? Interesting. Right? One will behave then. Maybe that makes for a eventually healthy society. I don't know. Oh, well, again, did God have to be this direct and absolute? It's pretty direct and absolute. Blows and wounds. If people quarrel and one strikes the other a blow with stone or fist, so that the injured party, though not dead, is confined to bed, but later recovers and can go about, even with a stick, the one who struck the blow will have no liability other than to compensate the injured party for the enforced inactivity and take care of the injured party until the cure is complete. I like that last part. If someone beats his slave, male or female, and the slave dies at his hands, he must pay the penalty. But should the slave survive for 1 or 2 days, he will pay no penalty because the slave is his by right of purchase. Oh. Okay, wait a second. So, if the slave dies at his hands, right then and there, then I guess that one would be paid a penalty. Why doesn't it say here, he will be put to death? 2. But if he survives for 1 or 2 days, suddenly and then the slave dies of his injuries anyway, then there's no penalty. Come on now, guys. Who wrote this? This isn't God. You can't tell me that. This doesn't make any sense at all. See? The judges. Who put the judges in place? Huh? Where is this actually coming from? Suddenly. Right? Yes? Interesting. Let's say, well, so a slave isn't, you know what? Let's just read on, okay? We're reading the Bible, okay? For enlightenment and all that jazz, okay? But this just sounds, maybe we'll get more insight into all this, right? Yes? Maybe we will. So let's keep on going. I can't get over all this stuff here. I've read this before. Why did it not affect me in the same way? Spiritual growth. We go through these growth stages. Is his by right of purchase. So if he only, okay, as I said, come on now. If people, when brawling, hurt a pregnant woman and she suffers a miscarriage, but no further harm is done, the person responsible will pay compensation as fixed by the woman's master, paying as much as the judges decide. What did I just say? This was written by the judges. So again, suffers a miscarriage, but no further harm is done. What is this? There's no way. There's no way God sanctioned this. I do not believe it. Let's keep going. If further harm is done, however, you will award life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, stroke for stroke. Okay, all right. So, how about that first part? If they have a quarrel, blah, 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 this, that, and someone gets hurt, then you just compensate the injured party, take care of the injured party. Yet down here, what does it say? That just, so what? The first part is just man to man, yeah, men fighting. The second part is what? To compensate the women, and then, so there's a difference between, I have no idea, I'm not getting this. But this is where this comes from. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, hand for a hand. That was not, I guarantee you, God did not write this down. God did not give anyone these commands. I guarantee you that. I do not believe that. And having read beforehand, you see, that's why. Just taking one part out of one chapter out of the Bible that you want to talk about on Sunday, right, and then use that as for whatever, doesn't work. You've got to know the whole Bible. You have to know the whole Bible in order to teach. Right? We're discussing the Bible, right? Yes? But if you're teaching the Bible, then you have to know the whole Bible. You have to know that, wait a minute, this was written down, but first of all, this does not, 21 in Exodus does not compute with 20 in Exodus where we got the 10 Commandments. Does not. Then with the judges and it said here, according to what the judges decide, and I believe that 21 in Exodus was decided by the judges. Okay, yes, yeah, not by Moses, Aaron, and God. Okay? They took matters into their own hands, and this is it's written down. That's what became law, and because there were so many people, there was no way that Moses had any oversight anymore. There you go. I'm just saying. If anyone strikes the eye of his slave, male or female, and destroys the use of it, he will give the slave his freedom to compensate for the eye. If he knocks out the tooth of his slave, male or female, he will give the slave his freedom to compensate for the tooth. Yet he can beat him, and if he lives 1 or 2 days longer, then by right of purchase, there's no penalty. Yet if what is this? How does this make any sense? But then we're reading this. If anyone strikes the eye of his slave, male or female, okay, blah, 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 we already got that. If an ox gores a man or woman to death, the ox will be stoned and its meat will not be eaten, but the owner of the ox will not be liable. Huh? That reminds me of something with the dogs. But if the ox has been in the habit of goring before, and if its owner has been warned but has not kept it under control, then should this ox kill a man or woman, it will be stoned and its owner put to death. Oh, well, interesting. If a ransom is imposed on the owner, he will pay whatever is imposed to redeem his life. If the ox gores a boy or a girl, it will be treated in accordance with this same rule. I sure hope so. If the ox gores a slave, male or female, its owner will pay the price, 30 shekels, to their master, and the ox will be stoned. Wow. Well, okay. Now, tell me I wasn't right before what I said. Really? So, just because someone is a slave, right, that life means less to God? Really? That's the kind of God that we believe in? Really? Well, I disagree. And you know what? Thank you. Our Heavenly Parent disagrees. Yet. He can't. He's not going to come and, okay, let's X mark some things here. I had nothing to do with. People made up their own mind here. I had nothing to do with it. I was not consulted about this. But my name was used. What does one of the 10 Commandments say? Do not use my name in vain. Yes? You can't tell me that the spirit of a free man and the spirit of a slave do not have equal value. You can't tell me that. I don't believe that. You also cannot tell me that a free man and a man in prison, the spirit of a free man and the spirit of a man in prison, in jail, having done some, does not have equal value. They do. In God's eyes, everybody has equal value when it comes to their spirit. How you grow that spirit, and how one lives their life, that's up to us. Absolutely 100% up to us. But in the eyes of God, the value of every spirit is exactly the same. Exactly the same. You see? Yeah. He wouldn't pay for one spirit more than for another spirit. Right? Or bid on. Yeah, I'll take this one. Yep. I'll give you a couple $1 million. That one, I'll take this one too, but $10. Does that sound like God to anyone? Okay. I think I made my point here. All right. Well, the ox still also will be stoned. If anyone leaves a pit uncovered or digs a pit and does not cover it, and an ox or donkey falls into it, then the owner of the pit will make good the loss by compensating its owner, and the dead animal will be his. if anyone's ox injures anyone else's ox, causing its death, the owners will sell and share the money for it. They will also share the dead animal. But if it is common knowledge that the ox has been in the habit of goring before, and its owner has not kept it under control, the owner will repay ox for ox and will keep the dead animal. Theft of animals. If anyone steals an ox or a sheep and slaughters or sells it, he will pay back 5 beasts. Pay back 5 beasts from the herd for the ox and 4 animals from the flock for the sheep. Now, that's a weird one. Okay, so usually when people steal, that means they don't have something, right? Yes, that's the norm, kind of. Okay, there's some people out there that just steal because they can. All right, there's some people out there that steal because they can't help themselves. Well, then they should have when they go out and shopping, they should take someone with them and have their hands tied behind their back so they can't steal. Right? Yeah. There's a name for them. I'm not going to say it on here. It's so dumb. But here, if anyone steals an ox or a sheep, one, and slaughters or sells it, okay. So why would someone steal anything? He will pay back 5 beasts from the herd for the ox, and 4 animals from the flock for the sheep. Well, why would you go and steal someone else's if you have your own? Why would you do that? Most likely, and it's someone who doesn't have it. Then what? It can't. How does that make sense? Right? Doesn't make sense. Huh? Anyway, that's the end of 21. Another weird one I can't do much with. And, but look at you, Gus. What are you doing? Gus, what are you doing? He's laying here. All 4 paws are up in the air. Tickle, 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 tickle. Tickle, tickle, tickle. They already had their run this morning. Huh? Haven't you? Yes. I have to say, though, so I read this passage. Again, there was something else that went through my mind. When I look at certain things, read up on certain things, and I'm going, how the heck does this make any sense? So, remember when I told you there is no other solar system like ours out there. So supposedly, with this whatever telescope, didn't say how far away, they found a Earth-sized, almost Earth-sized, kind of similar Earth-sized planet somewhere next to a star. Doesn't say what star it is either. They named the planet. And supposedly, okay, all right. And there are certain other things. The interesting thing about that is, to me, okay, first of all, I guess there's someone out there that needs to raise some more money, all right? So the funding, if you find something, that possibly, right, could be Earth-like, I'm sure that will appeal to a lot of very, very rich people out there who, just in case, will be able to afford a place on a spaceship and possibly fly to the next planet, right? Yes? Okay. So that's how you get funding, okay? Yes? Okay, of course. Anyway, so there's many things in the articles that I saw about it, and it just came out too, that don't compute, okay? I'm just saying, it's just me. I look kind of at the whole picture and going, okay. But here's the thing, I thought, wow. So most likely there's going to be, I don't know, a couple $1 billion, maybe even more, There are a lot of rich people in this world, who want to have the exit route out of off of Earth to another Earth. Well, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Right? Yes, we could really destroy the whole planet then. Because there's another one ready to destroy. Yeah, what do you think, Gus? Well, anyway, all right, getting sarcastic now. And I think for all that money being put into something that me as a commoner, okay, no great education, I didn't go to college or anything, looks at this whole thing going, I bet you most of it is not true. Right? And even if they did find something, now the way they're advertising it is not true. Right? And, just saying. And I think of all that money that's going to go into what? And I'm thinking, and I think of how many other things on earth here could need that kind of funding. Yeah? Yes? Just saying. That, in my opinion, would be a lot more important as a society living together, taking care of each other. Right? I don't care about what's out there in the universe. I love watching the stars. I love, and then there are some things that, okay, if we are being warned of a meteor falling on Earth, if it's big enough, it won't matter if we get the warning or not. Then all we'll be doing is for, I don't know, a year or two, a week or two, be scared out of our wits because we know we're going to die. We're all going to die. Okay? Yes? Well, if you know what kind of an impact a pretty big a meteor that would need warning would have on Earth. So in any case, right? Yes? Anything else? Yeah, sure, it's a good idea to check our ozone layers, though, again. So what to do? Well, okay. So, is it a good idea to just watch our surroundings, our solar system for certain? Yes. Do I need to know that, okay, you found what? And where is it? How far away? And does this make any sense? No. So, yes, there's a lot of money that goes out into the universe, into outer space, right? That I can't see any benefit from. But how much good could money like that do here on Earth? And here's the other thing. Why do we need so much money to be able to do good? You guys ever thought of that? Yeah. That's what I wanted to share this morning. Exodus 21, weird one. God's love and blessings always. May He protect you, and I will talk to y'all another time.